If you've spent literally any time browsing tech job boards lately, you've absolutely seen one word completely dominating the listings: DevOps. You've got DevOps engineer, DevOps pipeline, DevOps culture. It is everywhere. So, welcome to this explainer. We're going to demystify exactly what this buzzword actually means, and way more importantly, why every single tech company out there right now is suddenly so desperate to hire for it. Whether you're a total beginner, maybe looking to change careers, or an expat trying to break into the European tech scene, you are exactly in the right place. Okay, let's dive right in. Here's a quick look at what we're covering today. We'll start with the dev versus ops war, get into what DevOps actually is, cover the core practices, the essential skills, the explosive demand, and finally, give you a zero to hero roadmap. And listen, please don't sweat it if you have zero technical background right now. We've got a super clear step-by-step path to help guide you through this whole thing. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Dev versus Ops War, a tale of two teams. Because to really understand why this field is blowing up, we first need to look at the massive, massive problem it was built to solve. So why is DevOps literally everywhere? You've seen the word, sure, but why the total desperation from hiring managers? Why are companies throwing stacks of cash at people who know how to do this? Well, to get it, we really have to look at the historical nightmare that software companies used to go through every single time they wanted to update their products. Picture this. For decades, companies had two completely isolated camps. On one side, you had your developers. Their entire goal in life was to write code and ship cool new features as fast as humanly possible. But on the other side, you had operations, right? The IT pros whose job was keeping the servers running with absolute rock-solid stability and zero downtime. You see the conflict here? Developers are rewarded for making changes. Operations are rewarded for preventing changes so things don't suddenly break. They barely even talked. Developers would just write the code, chuck it over the proverbial wall to operations, and basically say, hey, good luck running this. And the result? Constant fighting, broken features, and these painfully slow weekend-long software releases that just left everyone totally exhausted. Which brings us to Section 2, what DevOps actually is. Culture, not just tools. Let's look at the magical fix that finally bridges the gap between these two warring factions. Here's the absolute crucial takeaway for you. DevOps is a set of practices and cultural philosophies combining development and operations to automate and speed up software delivery. You've really got to understand that DevOps isn't just some fancy software you buy off the shelf. It's not a tool you just install and forget about. It's a massive cultural shift. It means these two teams are no longer separated. They're working together from day one, sharing the responsibility for how that software actually performs in the real world. They focus heavily on automation and constant feedback, meaning software gets built, tested, and released way faster, and with vastly fewer mistakes. Moving right along to Section 3, core practices, automation and CI/CD. So what does this actually look like when you're on the job? Well, the absolute beating heart of DevOps is CI/CD. That stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery. Back in the day, companies would hoard all their code updates for months and then push one giant, incredibly risky update. And you guessed it, it usually broke something. But with CI/CD, teams release tiny, bite-sized code changes constantly. We're talking sometimes dozens of times a single day. Every time a developer writes a piece of code, the system automatically tests it to make sure it actually works. If it passes, boom, it's automatically delivered to the users.
Think about Netflix or Amazon for a second. When was the last time Netflix went down for a scheduled weekend maintenance to update their interface? Literally never. That's because they use DevOps and CI/CD. They're making constant, tiny updates behind the scenes, totally invisibly, without you ever noticing a single glitch. This workflow is the secret sauce of modern tech, and it's exactly why every company on Earth wants to work this way.
Let's jump to Section 4, essential skills, the DevOps arsenal. If you're a beginner wanting to jump into this, let's break down the actual skills you need, without getting totally bogged down by all the tech jargon. There's a golden rule you really need to remember here. Tools come later, understanding comes first. The biggest mistake I see beginners make is jumping straight into complex, trendy tools like Docker or Kubernetes before they even understand how a basic server actually works. Look, when a website crashes in the real world, it's rarely because a specific tool broke. It's usually a fundamental system issue. Employers are looking for problem solvers, not just folks who've memorized a list of terminal commands. So how do you actually build that solid understanding? Here are your 4 foundational steps. Number 1, Linux basics. Over 92% of the world's top servers run on Linux. You've got to know how to navigate it, understand file permissions, and manage processes. Number 2, networking concepts. You just have to know how the internet works, stuff like HTTP, firewalls, and IP addresses. Number 3, version control using Git. This is the magic that lets teams collaborate on code without accidentally deleting each other's work. And number 4, basic scripting. Think Python or Bash to automate all those repetitive, boring tasks. And notice, not a single one of these requires a fancy 4-year computer science degree. They are incredibly accessible, learnable fundamentals.
All right, now for the really fun part. Section 5, Explosive Demand, the Reward. Let's talk about the massive payoff waiting for you once you actually nail these skills down.
Get this, by 2026, the global DevOps market is projected to hit over $12.2 billion US. The entire tech industry is pivoting this way because honestly, it just works. Companies that use DevOps innovate faster. They beat their rivals to market and they avoid those disastrous, reputation-ruining website crashes. The field is growing at a mind-blowing rate of nearly 19% every single year. It is massively outpacing the broader tech market. Think about it. When you have a skill set that literally translates to faster output and happier customers, businesses are going to fiercely compete to get you on their team. And because of that intense demand, plus a real shortage of people who actually get the fundamentals, the compensation is fantastic. Right now, the average salary for a DevOps engineer in the US is sitting around $133,000. And if you're an expat, maybe eyeing Europe, this demand is echoing incredibly loud across countries like Germany. Their tech hubs are aggressively hunting for people who can streamline their pipelines. It's a highly portable, globally recognized skill set. Which brings us to our final section, your Zero to Hero roadmap. Start learning today. So, how do you actually start right now, today, with absolutely zero experience? Here is your actionable game plan. First off, you do not need to drop thousands on a bootcamp right away. Check out incredibly detailed, completely free resources like roadmap.sh. They have a dedicated step-by-step path just for DevOps beginners. Second, build real-world projects. Employers don't care about a piece of paper. They want a link to your GitHub where they can see that you actually deployed a basic web app yourself. Third, focus on problem solving over memorizing. And finally, here's a massive pro tip from our sources. If you're looking at the German tech market specifically, pair your DevOps learning with ITIL v4 knowledge. A lot of European enterprise companies use a blend of ITIL service management and DevOps, so having both on your resume, absolute game changer. At the end of the day, DevOps is all about bridging the massive gap between building code, keeping things stable, and actually delivering amazing technology to everyday people. In a future where software runs literally everything we do, the people who know how to automate and orchestrate it are going to hold all the cards. So the question is, are you going to let the automation wave pass you by, or are you going to be the one driving it?